Welcome, I'm Peter Conti, Executive Vice President of Burrell Associates. Recently we spoke with Yodel CEO Court Cunningham at his office in New York City. Yodel is one of the fastest growing revenue companies in local online advertising in 2009. What follows is part one of excerpts from that recent interview. Court Cunningham, CEO of Yodel, thank you for taking the time this afternoon.
Thank you for coming to our offices.
Yeah. I want to just cover a few things. You've had such tremendous growth, enormous growth. What has been the biggest challenge for Yodel this year?
The challenge is hiring great people, and our mission is to connect local businesses to consumers in such a simple and affordable way that people can't imagine any other way. And to do that, you need great people and great technology. We're fortunate to be based here in New York, where we've been able to assemble a fantastic product and technology team. But selling to the local business and then servicing that through a marketing specialist takes people, and there's no amount of technology that's going to completely eliminate that. It will help automate, but there's always going to be a people element to the business. And so really our growth is limited by hiring great people. And we try to keep the bar very high so that we can deliver great quality service.
How hard is it to establish long-term relationships when you don't have feet on the street?
Do have a relationship with people, with our merchants. Both our salespeople will keep a relationship, and we assign a marketing specialist who's an expert at setting up their campaigns, and they will contact the merchant on a regular basis throughout the course of their campaign with us. So I don't think you need to be face-to-face to establish a relationship. It certainly helps. But I think that we've got a very large percentage of our customers who've been with us a year plus. And they are developing a relationship with us, and it just happens to be over the phone. But you're right, it's important, because establishing trust is really important. There are a lot of people out there, fly-by-night companies, who have sort of promised the world and delivered nothing, and establishing that trust is critical. You're feeling the effects of this hangover that small businesses are feeling if they've dealt with other media. A little bit, yeah. We hear from fairly frequently, oh yeah, I've used someone else and online doesn't work. And we know that it works on average, and there are clients for whom certain segments, for example, that we don't support, and we've learned over time that from buying ads on search and internet yellow pages, which is primarily where we buy our ads, there are some segments that just don't perform as well as others. But on average, customers generate $7 in revenue for every dollar they spend with us. And that's a great ROI. And the problem is you get other people out there who've learned that, if I say that to a customer, I can sign them up. They haven't thought about the other half of the equation is they actually have to deliver it.
What categories are working?
They are, so anything sort of health and wellness oriented, legal, home improvement are probably the three big broad categories. So obviously within home improvement there are a ton of segments, HVAC contractor, plumber, window installer, garage door contractor. So there are hundreds of segments within each of these, but those are probably the biggest. And really the commonality is things where the website is important in the purchasing decision, and it's somewhat of a considered purchase.
There must be a vacuum there that local media hasn't been able to fulfill. It's been their battleground for so long at the local level.
Well, the way we look at it, there are actually two types of local advertisers. There are more, but in broad categories. So there are people who've bought CPM-based advertising. So this is newspaper type of buyers, and those we know who's in the newspaper. Auto dealers, department stores are two big categories. And those people in general tend not to be in the yellow pages. And then there are yellow pages advertisers, plumbers, electricians, who tend not to advertise in local newspapers. So we sort of think of it as there are CPM-based buyers who are essentially buying audience and exposure, and then there are directional advertisers who are buying return. I'm going to put my ad out, I'm going to spend X $100 a month, and I expect some return on that investment. And so this is an area where I think there's still not a lot of clarity. I think a lot of the newspaper companies are looking at how do I tap online, and the search sale the directional media sale is different than a CPM-based sale. And so I think there's an education process that has to happen there if they want to sell to these kinds of buyers. It's also a new buyer. Their sales force, if I'm a newspaper or a cable company, they're not talking to a lot of these buyers today, so it's a new customer base, and so that's an opportunity for them to broaden their footprint of local advertisers, but it's also a challenge. It is a big shift for people to be dealing over the phone, but you think about a lot of things. I mean, so insurance used to be sold through your local insurance agent. Geico came along and said, you know what, we're going to offer great customer service, we're not going to quibble over payouts when you crash your car, and we're going to be cheaper, and it's all over the phone. So models can and do change, and so I'm a Geico customer. I love them. I had one problem with my car, and unlike the only other time, it got paid, it was beautiful, and I don't have a relationship with a person at Geico, but I trust Geico because they've done a great job for me, and I think we can be the same to the small business.